Hi, my name is Scott Dordick. This is the video instruction manual for our Acrotech nodal rail. I have also included our stitch panoramic video so you can see how to set up and use the nodal rail. Our Acrotech nodal rail is 7 inches or 178 millimeters long, which is long enough to properly position the nodal point for lenses ranging from wide angle to mild telephoto. The quick release clamp fits all Arca Swiss style quick release plates. To find out more about our Acrotech quick release system, you can see our quick release system video at acrotech.net. The quick release clamp on the nodal rail indexes in 90-degree increments. You simply loosen the screw until the pins disengage from the rail, and then you rotate the clamp in either directions until the pins slide into their corresponding holes, and then you tighten the screw. Now, let's do some stitch panoramics. Stitch panoramics are how you can take a series of images and join them together to capture a very wide or very tall field of view. Much wider or taller than you could capture with a wide-angle lens. In fact, you can actually capture an image that is a full 360 degrees around. The first thing we need to do is level the top of your tripod or the bottom of your tripod head so we can be panning parallel to the horizon. The easiest way to do this is to use a leveling base. With a leveling base, installed here, you simply loosen the knob, adjust it until the bubble's in the center of the circle, and tighten it down. If you are not panning parallel to the horizon, when you stitch the image together, you will wind up with a stair-stepped image. And when you crop it, you will lose the top and the bottom of your image. Now, let's level the top of the tripod head. You can do this either by using the level in your quick release clamp or the level in the nodal rail. Just center the bubble in the center of the circle and lock it down. To minimize distortion, you will not want to do stitch panoramics with any lens wider than about a 50mm effective focal length, which is about 35 on most crop sensor cameras. With a 50mm effective focal length lens, you may have to use an L bracket to position your camera vertically to fit the whole scene into your image. The next thing to consider is that we are rotating around the nodal point of the lens. Optical experts will argue that it's not truly the nodal point we need to rotate about, but photographers call it nodal point, and what's important is that we are rotating around the correct point. We need to rotate around the nodal point to minimize parallax error. This sounds kind of complicated, but I can give you a simple demonstration. Hold one finger up in front of your face, close one eye, and move your head from side to side. It appears that your finger is moving in relationship to the objects in the distance. Now, the same thing happens when you try to do a stitch panoramic and you're not over the nodal point of the lens. The foreground and background objects appear to move in relationship to each other. The software will not be able to accurately stitch the image together. Every lens has its own unique nodal point. A zoom lens has a unique nodal point for every focal length. To find the position of the nodal point, you will need a vertical stick and a post or door frame or some other vertical line in the distance. Any stick will do. I sometimes just use a light stand. I put the light stand close to the camera about 2 or 3 feet away and find a vertical line in the distance about 20 feet away or more. If you have a camera that you can stop down the aperture with depth of field preview, it'll make things a little easier. Take a look through the front of the lens and make a visual note on the position of where the aperture appears to be in the lens. The position of the apparent aperture is the nodal point of the lens. If you know the position of the apparent aperture, use the nodal rail to center the apparent aperture on the middle of the quick release clamp. Otherwise, use the nodal rail to approximately center your lens on the quick release clamp. By trial and error, we will pan the camera side to side while looking through the viewfinder at our 2 vertical objects. If the vertical objects appear to move in relationship to each other, slide the nodal rail fore and aft and pan side to side until you can find a position where the 2 vertical objects no longer appear to move in relationship to each other. Once you have found the position where you can pan back and forth and the 2 vertical objects do not appear to move in relationship to each other, take note of the number on the side of the nodal rail that corresponds to the edge of the quick release clamp for future reference. If this is a focal length that you will use often for panoramics, you can tighten the adjustable stop in this position on your Acrotech nodal rail. Now that we have the nodal point set, we're ready to take some images. First, you're going to want to set your focus to manual and your exposure to manual. When shooting the images, I usually try to overlap each image 1/4 to 1/2. I will usually eyeball about 1/3 of the image. I will look for a prominent object and line up the frame with that. If you prefer, you can find a chart that will give you the exact number of degrees to rotate for each focal length lens. To do a vertical panoramic, set up everything just like you're going to do a horizontal panoramic. And if you're using a GV2, just rotate everything off to the side, and the bushing on the stem of the GV2 will keep everything level. Otherwise, a special panoramic bracket can be used. For vertical panoramics, you may need to shoot with your camera in the horizontal position to fit your scene into the frame. An L bracket will help you shoot vertical panoramics with your camera in the horizontal position. I am going to show you how to stitch your images together using Adobe Photoshop CS3. If you have an earlier version of Photoshop, it will not work as well, and you may want to upgrade or use some other stitching software. Okay, open Photoshop and click on File, Automate, and Photo Merge. Once you click on Photo Merge, a dialog box will open. Click on Browse and select your files, and then click Open. Your files will appear in the center box. Leave the Blend Images box checked and set the layout to auto, and press OK. It may take a while depending on the number and size of your images, but Photoshop will do the rest. Once Photoshop has finished stitching your image together, you can crop, adjust levels, just like any other image. In summary, level the bottom of your tripod head, level the top of your tripod head. Set your nodal point, set your focus on manual, set your exposure on manual, and overlap each image 1/4 to 1/2. What makes the GP ball head unique is that it has the ability to function as if it has its own built-in leveling base for stitch panoramic images. To do this, you simply remove the quick release clamp from the top of the ball and reinstall it on the bottom of the ball head. And then you install your ball head upside down on your tripod. You can now use the level in the quick release clamp to level the panning base so you can pan parallel to the horizon. Of course, many of you will want to install a nodal rail so you can rotate about the nodal point of your lens. You can also install your camera with an L bracket if you prefer to do your panoramics with your camera in the vertical position. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can visit our website at acritech.net, or you can send me an email at info@acritech.net. Thank you.